always a pleasure having you here with us on Atlantic Television Network. Good morning to you. The program is Atlantic Blowout, and this is syndicated live program of the network that gets to feature chit-chats and conversations on special interest topics on news events and stories through correspondence reports, expert opinion, and stakeholders analysis. Today, some of the stories we'll be taking will go to Anambra State. We have reports that a community has staged protests against the monarch in Anambra State. And then from the Niger Delta, oil-producing communities demand review of statutory fee, the 3% fee. And then on the National Assembly, reps crack down on substandard iron and products. The national government to shut outlets selling at exorbitant rates. And on the education, Nigerians have reacted to this report we had yesterday on ATN on Atlantic Blowout, talking about the federal government pegging an age for writing the WAEC exams, not just WAEC now, but WAEC, JAMB, and NECO. And then on Whistleblower, Nigeria into a banana republic. Who said this? Thank you so much for staying right here with us. With me in the studio is the Royal Chief himself. I'm talking about no other than Chief Magnus Edo, and he is a traditional ruler and public affairs analyst, one of our regulars in Atlantic Blowout, and it's always an amazing time when he joins us on the show. Good morning to you, Chief.
Good morning. Good morning, Nigerians.
Welcome.
Thank you.
All right, let's go straight to it. Okay, we're taking the story from Anambra State. That's our first story now. We have reports that no fewer than 2,000 indigenes of Oba of Family community in Oka North local government area of Anambra State on Wednesday stormed the government house in Oka and staged a demonstration against what they termed as high-handedness of their traditional ruler, Igwe Ezekwesili Ernest. Now, the demonstrators who arrived at the government house with motorcades at about 1 p.m. with placards with some inscriptions on Soludo's some inscriptions are Soludo's should dethrone Igwe Maduaguna. We say no to his burning down of houses, illegal sales of our lands, and other illegalities were received in audience by the Chief of Staff to the Governor Soludo Ernest on behalf of the Governor. Now, the spokesman of the protesters, Dr. Nice Nnamdi Meko, who tabled their grievances before Ezeguji, alleged that the monarch had for some time now engaged in burning down opposition's houses with reckless abandon, using communities' vigilante operatives. Now, Meko further told him that the monarch forcefully confiscated over 2,000 bags of rice and a good number of live goats belonging to the opposition, grabbed and sold their lands, as well as forcefully planted his stooge as new President General of Oba of Family Development Union, ADU, after a recent inclusive town union election. Now, Meko, who demanded that the government should withdraw the chieftaincy certificate of the Igwe, conduct a free and town union election in the area, and disband the Polycarp Ndukife-led vigilante operatives in the area. They lamented over 15 houses were set ablaze, 2,000 bags of rice, scores of goats forcefully confiscated from their owners and reportedly sold to traders in Onitsha. Now, this is the part. The responding, the Governor Soludo's representative and his chief of staff, commended the demonstrators for their peaceful conduct of the exercise and pledged to look into the allegations critically with a view to bringing lasting peace to the community. Now, according to the monarch, the monarch responded and he said, I, Igwe, can't set somebody's house ablaze. They are a bunch of liars. The protest they carried out is baseless, null and void, and to no effect. Okay, when I saw this story, I was eager to find out what the Igwe's response to these allegations would be. But he has said that this is not something that he did. He has denied the claims by over 2,000, according to reports, community people. You are a traditional ruler. I'd like to get your thoughts on this story.
Well, I'm going to look at it from two angles. First and foremost, I must thank the protesters for registering their anger, and then also to the traditional ruler that is also come to respond to the allegations they have made against him. The onus lies on the state government to set up an investigations panel to look into who is actually saying the truth about the issues. But unfortunately, I have been saying it, and I will still say it here, that once you don't differentiate traditional institutions from politicking, it becomes an issue. Because, like I said it a few days ago, that when you have a royal blood and coronated chiefs, they don't operate the same. What do I mean by that? Politicians bring in their loyalists and install them as traditional rulers to some communities that are not well accepted by the people. Sometimes they are not, they don't have anything to do with the traditional institutions, but because of their relationships, we need to.
But you know that they allege that they are opposition houses.
Yes, that is why I'm talking about how comes opposition in the traditional institutions. Are they politicians that they have party A and party B? I think everybody in the community belongs to a particular family, which is that community. And all of them are subject to the traditional rulers. And all of them are subject.
Opposition might not just be about parties now.
Against its policies.
Yes, it could.
Policies sometimes anti-human. But when they talked about rice, when they said they seized rice, and about 2,000 bags of rice, I imagine how could a traditional ruler have so much power to overcome 2,000 people in a community?
No, not 2,000. Are you talking about the whole
protesters?
Community?
The protesters number about 2,000. Okay? And where were they when the traditional ruler, they mentioned only the king using the operative?
Yes, the vigilante.
The vigilante. Did they report this case to the police? What are the report of the police? What are the police saying
the traditional ruler is not that powerful as
traditional rulers are always powerful.
Because he said that how powerful could the traditional
rulers
have
are
been?
Always powerful. Okay, but the people that you govern have supremacy of power above your own leadership, because they can say no to certain policies.
Policies, yes.
They can say no. They have the right to say no, and you have the right to review policies that is not giving the necessary development to a particular community. So, what I may advise, they did not say that they reported this matter to the police. First and foremost, it ought to have been reported to the police. The traditional ruler need to have been invited and interrogated and see that this allegation is genuine. Okay, but going straight to the government house, I see a lot of politics playing out. Going straight to the government house, they don't even make the local government chairman of that place. You know, you have to have procedures of complaints. First and foremost, they have a divisional police officers they have the area command, they have the local government chairman, they have the traditional chairman of traditional rulers. These are channel of complaint. If these places you have mentioned cannot handle, then you move to government house. Or is it because government house is closer to them? Because I'm just imagining, if somebody want to protest from my own community, coming to government house here in Rivers State, you know how much you will invest into transportation, okay? Before you think of...
For them to have walked down there, it looks
maybe
like...
it's work that is close by and they live close to the government house.
But in a situation where they have probably, followed all of these measures, they have tried to make the reports you have mentioned, it will not be out of place to go to the governor, right?
It is their right. It is our governor. It is their governor. They have right. The government should have access to the people. They have right to complain. But there should be a channel of complaints. In every organization, you have channel of complaints. Just like you want to bring organizational setting. You don't just go to management without passing through your human resources manager to complain. Okay? You have your departmental head. You don't jump your departmental head and go to the MD. They will still refer you back and also punish you in some cases. So you don't jump procedure, no matter how dangerous, no matter how dangerous it is, how important it is. You ought to have reported first to the police. In their report, I don't see anywhere they mention police.
Okay, some people are saying that probably looking at some of these things that they have mentioned, assuming it happened, because these are just allegations until they are proven. Assuming this happened, could it be that there's too much power invested in the traditional ruler? Do you think that is something that should be looked at?
There's no power in the traditional ruler that should be inhuman. You are governed human being, not good. You don't command people. We have gone by that era. That is why sometimes they say the power of traditional rulers, the constitution did not recognize the role of traditional institutions. Do you know how we behaved back then before the independence? Traditional rulers we are saying as Lord. They give command and you must obey. They banish you from the community.
Is it different from now?
Quite different. You can't just get up and banish me because I don't like your policies. You cannot. And no traditional ruler should think about that. You must follow traditional procedures. You must follow traditional procedures, not because you don't like my face.
But they're not procedures then?
There wasn't procedure. They are Lord and King. You don't oppose them. Anything they say is fine now. Just like in the days of Pharaoh and thereabout in the Bible. Okay? A king cannot reverse his statement. If you say this house is going down, that is it. But it's not like that these days. You have cabinet. You have to take decisions. You have to review your decisions. Some communities have constitutions. You must abide by the constitution of that community. We don't do this. This is what we are doing. And it's subject to be reviewed. So it is not like that these days. We are in a democratic era. And in the traditional institution, that also applies. We operate with the constitutions. We don't have a separate constitutions. We don't allow our systems. It must go through
you're
due
saying
process.
how it should be, but
that is how it is.
Really how it is in every community?
That is how it should be. That is how it is. No king can just get up today, nobody should eat.
So that means you're looking at these allegations like things that are impossible.
It is not impossible. People behave differently based on their perceptions, based on things they think they want to make some corrections. Okay? I don't know, they did not mention how old he is on the throne. And how old is the person, the king, how old is the king, okay? And how many years has he been on that throne? These are things we need to find out. If he has been a king that has been there for, like myself, I've been a traditional ruler for a decade, over 10 years today. I have so many experience, in as much I'm still learning. I have so much experience within the period I've governed. So I see when people want to incite the people against the traditional rulers. I have seen a case where people can incite the mind of the people against you. Politicians can also do that. You are internal opponent, because there is no king that don't have oppositions in the community. Because not all your policy that will be accepted.
Yes.
There are areas that they will say, no, we don't, why this man is doing like this. And again, they are talking about land. Land grabbers. Traditional rulers as custodians of the community, we own all the lands. Okay? Sometimes there are families that owns land, because how powerful some traditional ruler is. If you go against them, they arrest you and put allegations on your head and torment you. So people can be scared. And this is not what we want as a people. We are all equal. We are all equal. What distinguish traditional rulers from other people is because of the seat of power you sit on. And you are there to do justice to your people, to say what is right and govern them properly. Not because they don't like your face. You start seizures of properties, burning of houses. I condemn that act of burning of houses. How will you burn someone's house because it's opposing you? It's completely wrong. It is against our tradition. It's against the ethics in the traditional institutions. No traditional ruler have any right whatsoever without trial.
Talking about taking the lands now, since you have stated that according to the law, the traditional ruler is in charge of the land in the community, right?
Yes.
Okay. So in a situation where he wants to take someone's land now, that's a family land, that's a pardon, as stipulated in the Petroleum Industry Act, PI 2021. Now he also appealed to the oil companies that had not complied with the HOSCOM regulations to do so immediately to incorporate the host communities. That means there are oil companies that have not even started paying the 3%. That's to the host communities development fund. Now, while we commend the implementation of the PI 2021 that has started in some areas, there are many things and many communities that have to be taken care of. We give kudos to the Nigeria Upstream Petroleum Regulatory Commission for prioritizing first the HOSCOM regulations, and today we are seeing the improvement in our production. He said, if you look at the second to the last paragraph of this particular story, where he talked about some companies that have not even started paying the 3% at all to communities, and one would wonder how. You know, I just recently I had to start asking questions about this PI, because I remember then we followed up this story for a long time. It was there for decades before finally the PIB was passed into law. And then it was more like, it was just like Dangote Refinery, the way people saw Dangote Refinery when it was coming up. A lot of Nigerians felt like, oh, if this refinery is functional, our problems will be solved and all of that. That's how a lot of people saw the PIA. But so far, how much has it really solved the problems? Looking at the 3%, even then, host communities were complaining that the 3% was too small. And now seeing that even some companies have not even paid that 3%, and then seeing them coming up to say the price should be, or it should be reviewed. What are your thoughts on this?
I think this is one of the news that's gladdened my heart, because if you remember, recently allowances, salaries of some judges were increased. And in this country, we know that our source of revenue, major source of revenue, is from the oil and gas sector in this country. And the communities that you are tapping these natural resources from, you don't remit the 3% that we all agreed in the PIA Act 2021. It's not only to review it, the 3%. For me, there are some clauses in that act that did not favor host communities.
Really?
Yes. Because you don't tell me in my community that I'm not in charge of the pipeline that is passing through my communities, and if there's any sabotage, the community will pay for it. And in that act, you are telling me that you have rights to make anybody, the northernland, anybody to be members of that board, that cluster board that control the fund of the community. The government will decide who will become the chairman. In that act, you are also telling the host community that the money in that act, you don't have such right directly to tap from the money that is belong to the community. You have to set up this, you have to set up that, those bottleneck things that will not work. They don't want it to work. Even though you remit to the community, there are a lot of host community in the Niger Delta, and remember, it is only one community in Akwa Ibom State that has set up their what do they call their trust fund? Yes, their trust fund that has been funded. I think 1 or 2 communities, one in Akwa Ibom State. I don't think in Rivers State we have seen any state, any local government whatsoever, any community that their own procedure has been finalized. I don't think so. I come from the OMN 11 in Kana local government area of Rivers State, and I have about 6 to 7 oil wells in my own community. which I think if the 3% start coming in, we will have been seeing development.
So it has not started coming in at all?
It has not started coming in at all.
Could it be because of what you just stated, that the communities have not set up what they're supposed to set up to receive the fund?
Setting up those things, recently we saw chairman of the chairman of National Assembly from the House of Reps, Honorable Dunamene Deko, who is in charge of the host community, doing some sensitizations and moving around to ensure that the people is aware of what to do.
It's been 3 years.
Yes, it's Nigeria things. Okay, the people keep suffering every day.
But you just talked about the host communities being the ones who have not set up what they're supposed to set up.
How would you just set up things when you don't know exactly what to do in some cases?
Okay, let's look at the challenges that the host communities are facing.
The challenges has been there right from the time they start exploiting the oil. The challenges has been there. And that was why they set up the NDDC. And that was why they set up the Niger Delta Ministry. Have they been able to handle these issues? No, I don't think so. And this 3%,
yes,
3% coming to the host communities, I have not seen anything done so far. Because you need to follow a lot of procedures. You have to go to Abuja. You have to set up this. You have to. Which money will the community be using to do all this? Which money will the community be using to do all this? So I was expecting, once this bill was passed into law, the procedures of implementing this honestly lies in government. Because you are the one to pay this money. Which account are we paying to? I've not seen anybody coming to my community to say, okay, government, we are directed to come to your community and to ask questions, why have you people not nominated people that will be on the board? So if you are nominating and they are not taking action, what do? These are challenges we have. So, and these are challenges I will call on stakeholders in the Niger Delta. You know, the 13% derivations coming to states is quite different from the 3% that is coming to host communities. And these host communities that are yet to set up the board, we cannot blame government in this case, just like you rightly asked. We cannot blame government in this case. But you see, leadership issues. These host communities, I know they have different factions. Different factions. The faction of host community which has been followed is the one being led by the former military governor of Rivers State, JTSP. Okay? That faction is there. And that is the faction that we have been working with. I'm hearing the name of this man for the very first time. Okay? It's also agitating because you have you have different. These are issues that we continue to get in the Niger Delta. Everybody wants to lead at the detriment of your community. So the 3% need to be reviewed. So
the communities that have not been receiving their 3% for whatever reason, whether from them, from the government, is it being piled up for them? Is it being kept for them? And then when they finally are able to proceed with all of the things, then they receive all. It's been 3 years. Imagine putting together those 3%. Because at the end of the day, when you look at it, even though they have not started receiving it, it did not stop the oil companies
from paying.
No, not as yes, from paying. That's even one.
Yes.
And then from still using
the oil.
Do you understand? So they still, that is being done. So while they are not, is there any compensation? Is the 3% being piled up? What is the information that you have received so far?
I think we need more clarifications from the HOSCOM.
So even the communities are not even completely enlightened?
I have said it here. Okay? Communities that are oil producing are very large in the Niger Delta region. Okay? They say that when you are not informed, you are deformed.
What steps have they taken?
There are communities that have taken huge successful steps.
Your community has not?
Some communities. Okay. Some communities in Niger Delta. Like I mentioned, one community in Akwa Ibom State, I can't recall that community, have started receiving the fund, the money.
So after 3 years?
Yes, so I cannot completely say it has not worked. It has worked in some communities. And some communities that have not also maybe tell people that, look, we've started receiving. Okay? Because it's an individual thing. I come from the Ogoni Axis. Are they going to do it per community? Or you are going to do it in the name of a particular tribe? and bundle it into one cluster board, one board.
But when the communities were advocating
because when you talk about
more
communities, do you know how many communities that we have that are still oil-bearing communities? And we have representatives from each of these communities. We have representatives. So what I'm actually saying, the traditional rulers, the political class, the elite of these communities need to come together once again and to ensure that this thing works for the benefit of the community. This 3% we are meant for the development of the community. So if it has not started working and we keep complaining, who are we to
asking
blame
for
now?
a review,
the review
an upgrade.
the upgrade should be there because of what is happening. Liter of fuel is almost 1,000 naira. So if you talked about developing my community with 3 million naira, when this act was when this act came to play since 2021, what about today? Can 3 million naira do anything? No.
Because a lot of communities in the Niger Delta, we know how these communities are. Some of them do not even have water, clean water, drinking water. Some of them have never seen light. We had someone here the other day who said this community, they've never had the connection of electricity in that community. And some of these communities are oil producing communities.
Major oil communities.
So one would ask why. And then when the PIA was signed, we were all celebrating.
Yes.
And then even though the communities were against the 3%, I think they were clamoring for, was it 30% or so? They were clamoring for more anyway.
The 3% review is the right step, and I think all stakeholders need to support this clarion call for an upward review.
Okay.
I think so, and
I
am in support of a total review.
Okay, so let's go on to the iron rod and steel now. Iron rod and steel distributors employers of Nigeria has reassured the National Assembly of its commitment to fully support efforts towards mopping up substandard steel products that have saturated the Nigerian market because of the greed of some producers who are majorly foreigners working in collaboration with some government officials. Now, in a statement by the national president, the Chief Benga made available to newsmen in Ilorin on Tuesday morning, the union hailed the recent move by the House of Representatives Committee on Steel Development to harvest information regarding statutory compliance obligation and production process of suspected iron rod producers from the Standard Organization of Nigeria and tax laws of the Federal Republic of Nigeria from the Federal Inland Revenue Service to ensure validation of reports. Now, he said in his words, and I quote, "We applaud it a bold step in the right direction after a long period of calling for checkmate of the activities of the Standard Organization Nigeria, which has become necessary." And he also talked about it being highly commendable that sanitizing the industrial production sector, because this is a big problem. When we talk about iron rod, we're looking at things like buildings, we're looking at other things that this, and you know, recently we've been having lots of building collapse in Nigeria, and then we'll trace it down to things, and people have been asking, we have the Standard Organization of Nigeria, what is going on? In fact, Nigerians believe that some of these agencies are not even doing anything at all. But what do you think about the story?
I coming up with this for me is a good one, but it's not only telling us how traceable are they, their investigations for the previous collapse of buildings, how many persons have been brought to book, how many persons have been arrested. You know, they mention foreigners conniving with Nigerian officials, giving us substandard products that are killing our people. These buildings collapse every day in Nigeria. The major ones are the ones that news captured, okay? And as a result of poor productions of iron, substandard materials being used, sold in our Nigerian markets, and Nigerian patronize them, and we know them through this mist they are talking about. That means actually they know there are substandard materials, substandard iron in the market.
Of course.
So now, since you have known that there are substandard material in the market, what have you done to arrest those people that are producing it? Because, for instance, you must know inferior and the good. You set up your agencies to go into market and start searching for these criminals, because I must call them criminals, because anything that is illegal is criminal minded. You want to make more profit at the detriment of Nigerians. Okay, so if they set up, they have failed the organizations of standardizations.
Yeah,
okay?
Standardization Nigeria.
They have failed actually for not doing their job while they were established, ensuring that people follow standards, ensuring that protocols are followed at all levels. And when you see that things are going on, where are they? Why have they not acted? Why have they not arrested people? Do you mean they don't have enough manpower? What are their challenges? Does it mean that the head is not doing what it is in the law? Because
when it comes to Nigeria, you know, people
So,
would always look at the standard organization. You know, in Nigeria, we know that there are lots of substandard products, and sometimes we even go for them.
because, you know, Nigeria like cheap things.
No,
And
they'll
cheap
tell
things
you,
what kills.
this is the original, this is the fake, say give me
Yes.
the fake.
You-
Why?
You don't even allow the fake to come into Nigerian markets. That is why these agencies were created. Don't arrest who is producing this fake. Okay? If there is no fake, then everybody go for the original. If there are
have
no
no
fakes,
choice,
you have no
yes.
choice. You go for the original. Do we have fake cars? No. You must buy a car.
But we have fake motor parts.
We have fake motor parts. So how did they come into Nigeria? This lies in the hands of the people that have to checkmate this. Because we cannot have fake motor. We don't have fake vehicle. All vehicles are standard because they are manufacturers. Follow procedures. Follow standard. Okay? You don't boycott those procedures before you make it a vehicle that move on the road. There is no fake vehicle. It must be a vehicle that is certified by the standard. Okay? So if the ISO that allow you to operate, we have ISO 9001, ISO 13,000, and this ISO 14,000. Even in organization, we have standards that you followed. If you don't follow the standard, there are penalties. So who is checkmating the standard? Which standard are the people
Sun.
producing
That's
this
Sun.
iron following?
We have Sun.
We have some who are they not they are not doing their job actually. You know, between me and you know that they're not doing their job. But if they are doing their job,
Chief, you can't speak for me. You can only speak for yourself.
if they are doing their job, we won't be having substandard material all over the country. This is one sector, iron. What about motor parts? What about drugs? What about other things?
You know, we've spoken to some of these car owners, especially. I don't want to limit it to just commercial drivers now. We've done investigations concerning this, and then they have told us time and time again that these vehicle parts, the original parts, are really expensive. They are out of it. So I'm telling you their excuse, their reason rather. This is not an excuse for getting substandard.
Do you know that there are
products.
vehicles you don't have?
But they have said yes.
Do you know that there are vehicles you don't have the substandard parts? You can't see it. You don't have it at all.
But most of the vehicles that we have, the substandard parts are available.
Most of the vehicles we have are substandard parts we have.
We have substandard parts
Yes,
are available.
available.
So these drivers, when they try to get, they just go for the cheap one.
Go to
You
the cheap one that
understand?
you'll be buying every
And
day.
that is a big problem that we have
Yes,
here in Nigeria.
you'll be buying every day. If you buy the original, it lasts. There was a time I was using a Mercedes Benz as my personal car. Okay? If you go for the product of Benz, you don't always see substandard motor Benz parts. Because it's very expensive. It's expensive to maintain, but the duration, it lasts for you. You don't buy parts every day. Okay? So people avoid that product because you cannot always see fake parts.
But what about subsidizing this for the people? Because a lot of them cannot even afford it.
Okay.
So if you say buy the original, that's what people can buy the original.
Let
right?
the fake never comes at all.
Exactly.
And that's where
then
some
the
comes in.
original, then the original. Because if you say, let's look at it. If you're going to stop the fake from coming in completely,
Okay,
right?
okay.
That means you need to also do something about the original. Like
Yes.
you need to subsidize it
The
for
price.
these people because they will smuggle it in again.
And
they would look for a way to smuggle the fake in. If the subsidy, so while you're trying to block this aspect, you also need to look for a way to make it affordable for the people.
For me, making it affordable for the people, let there be availability of the genuine pass.
Are they even available? That's another thing we should discuss.
If there are much availability of the genuine pass, I know Nigerians the way we love good things.
Yes, of course.
Okay, so if it is available, not when you want to buy, they say the originals, we can't find it.
You have to import it.
You have to import it. And the importers don't want to go for originals. And these are things that we need people to correct. How did they get into Nigeria if it did not pass through the custom service? Did they not check it? Did they not see the invoices? Did they not see the custom duties and all that? These are organizations that have failed Nigerians in different ways. We are talking about iron that have been produced in Nigeria. Most of these iron are not imported.
Yes.
They manufacture it here in Nigeria. And you can walk to the company and say, can we inspect your facilities? Can we see what you are doing? Okay? You see why some product of drinks, they prefer this bottle, this breakable bottle, not rubber. Because the people find it difficult to have machine that can fabricate that bottle. They find it very difficult to see machine that can fabricate it, even to cook it. These are methodologies that some people do, not to bring in quacks or fake people into adulterating their product. So there are ways you can handle your product and you don't see people coming in to bring fake. Since we know this company, how many people have been arrested? That is my question. Why can't we walk into this company? Okay, stop producing. Okay, look at what happened to Dangote. Oh, it's alleged that he was producing a substandard material. Okay, you see Senate committees, everybody trying to get fact about the stories and all that. What stop us doing that same to iron that is killing people? Because what they are preventing in Dangote production is because we don't want our vehicle to go spoil.
Yes, I remember the question I've been wondering now. You know, we used to say that back then, some of these products were standard in the past. When you want to buy, I remember when we wanted to buy a gate while building, and then people said, oh, back then this gate was, do you understand? And then when we bought that gate years later, it was difficult to find that quality again.
Yes.
And this doesn't just have to do with building now. It's difficult. And then one would ask, what were they doing differently in the past that we're not doing now? Why the proliferation companies with fake products and substandard materials? So what do you think they were doing in the past that we probably are not doing now?
We have men of conscience in the past.
Come on, it's still the same Nigeria. These men of conscience better the Nigeria that we have today.
No,
so
we have men of conscience in the past that prioritize their skill. They want to demonstrate their skill. They want to ensure that quality works, that actually we can do this. And in the test of time, our name, they say good name is better than anything. They want to keep the name of that company in the test of time. And that is why you always refer to some companies.
After a lot of years.
A lot of years, after seeing what they have done, okay? But we have people that love money these days more than name. There are companies that you can start mentioning their names, that they have best products. If you want to go for generator now, there are companies can start mentioning their names. Today, you don't want to mention names here. You can mention names of companies that produce generators. That you can bet that once you enter their shop, be assured that what you are getting is the best. And you still have those companies existing today because of the name. They don't want their name to be mentioned that they are part of those that are doing things that are not good. So people again in Nigeria, we don't have people that have conscience. We have people that love money more than name. No, oh, this product will not be sold here. We are going to sell in the northern part. So we think concern me. I mean, my brother is there. So let it, anything that happened there doesn't concern me.
Pathetic. Range between 568 naira to 670 naira per liter. And this these stations as Nigerians raise concern to shut down filling stations that will be caught dispensing PMS at exorbitant rates. It declared this through the Nigerian midstream and down to book if apprehended. Come on, let's look at it. They have told us how much they get to buy this product, and we're looking at how much if they buy at 850 naira and they're selling at 900 naira, 1000 naira. Is that out of place? That's a question.
And marketers is there to make profits, okay? And that is why we talk about agencies that have failed to carry out their duties. We have the DPR. I know when I was very young, you can see filling station being sealed off, selling price above the regulatory price. Are we still saying that today? No. I used to see filling stations, they say sealed off. If you are driving in, they say sealed off. Why? They were selling above the pump price. Now, this made the marketers that are into business to
have been calling for an explanation on the fuel subsidy payments.
That is it, because it is not clear yet. It is not clear yet, because indirectly you are also subsidizing.
But we are the ones who are bearing the brunt. We are the ones who are
and that is why we are complaining.
What is going on?
That's why we are complaining.
That's why we need to also make recommendations as to what should be done at the moment. Because we
until the federal government start clamping down on their representatives, on the people they appoint, until government question him actually what is happening, because they feel like all is well. And since the government feel like all is well, because no matter the price, they keep increasing the price, Nigeria will still survive. They believe that we can survive with any conditions. For me, I think those agencies that are to monitor these filling stations need to do that quickly, okay? Because as we are approaching the festive period, you know what normally happens.
Oh my
if
God.
we can buy at 1,000 naira now, what will happen then?
Oh my God.
Okay, so and this are what causes the hike of commodities in the market. You are going to buy a product and you pay higher in cost of transportations. All that you add it to the price of the product. So if you buy something cheaper from the market, by the time you transport it back to your house, was an issue. So I think those agencies that have failed to work, either they scrap them off and let Nigerians know that we don't have them, rather than paying them money and they are not doing their job. They are taking bribe. Okay, they are taking bribe and you are enriching their pocket, and Nigerians are suffering.
Are we clamoring enough for this to be? Would you say that the people are speaking loud enough?
This is where we call on those our lawyers that have been doing some pro bono services to Nigerians. They have rights to take these agencies to court and review their activities again. They have right to take these agencies to court and let them review their activities, what the law says you should do and you are not doing it. And why are you not doing it? It is punishable. If the law say check products, you are not talking about the meters that have been adjusted. You are not buying 1 liters as 1 liters. Maybe you are buying 1 liter, you buy half liters. We are showing the other day on the social media where the dispenser was even counting and no fuel was coming out. So if they inject that nozzle into your meter reading and nothing is coming out, this is corruption. And some people bring in these criminal ideas to these pump attendants. Okay, they will just be discussing with you. Oh, chief, it's like a chief. I is your kingdom. To you as your friend, my friendly customer.
They've done it to you before.
They've done it to me severally.
Are you serious?
Yes, they've done it to me severally. I don't want to mention the station. Oh, chief, oh, welcome. Welcome. Oh, your car is neat. Oh, how is family? How is this? And that is not dispensable. But the meter is counting. Yes, it's
counting. How did you then find out?
Yes, no, my meter in my vehicle will always tell me how many liters I buy. I know how many liters I normally buy, and I know where the meter. So before I move, I will start the vehicle, and the meter refused to rise. So you question, okay, if you want to raise your voice, they will say, oh, the manager will calm you down so that other customers will know here. But I did that in one of the customers, one of the filling station. They have to fill my tank. They have to fill my tank because I say no to people like that. Put it in a can. Let's see how many liters we fill this can. Okay, that is why you see Nigerians have become more wiser. Once you see where they are dispensing in jerry can, that means their meters are correct. their meters are good. And they have another criminal ideas because you will see line up for people that want to use it for industrial use, for house. Because you don't have patience to wait, you will not be bothered to go and queue there. You will go for where there is nobody, and they have adjusted their meters at that particular point. So they designated a particular point. If you go to Nigeria filling station, they designated a particular point for only to dispense for people that want to use it for their salon. They want to use it
That's
for
people with jerry cans.
People with jerry can. You know, that meter is correct. And vehicle owners will not have patience. You see line up vehicle things is being like, what time I'm meeting up something. So you go for this one that is nobody, and there they cheat you more. And we all know that, and nobody punishing them. And we have agencies, the DPRO, to monitor this in all states. We have them to monitor filling stations that are criminally cheating Nigerians. Have you hiked the price? Why did
in Nigeria? Please stay right here with us in ATN.
From the line across the ocean to the land beyond the mountains, through the Sahara, we bring on-spot news, live analysis, expert discussions on trending stories in politics, business, socio-economy, sports, and documentaries. So catch all the updates on the happenings around the globe. Stay focused on the fact today, only on ATN.
Thank you so much for staying with us. Let's go to education now in Nigeria. Critical stakeholders in the education sector have condemned the decision of the federal government to peg the age at which students can write the senior secondary school certificate examinations, that's SSCE, at 18, saying it will simply draw the sector back. Nigerians on X and some stakeholders have reacted to the comment by the Minister of Education, Professor Tahir Mamman, that from 2025, any candidate who is not up to 18 will not be allowed to write the examination, and without doing so, such candidates won't be able to seek admission into tertiary institutions. The stakeholders who spoke with newsmen yesterday included the Nigeria Union of Teachers, NUT, the National Parent Teachers Association of Nigeria, NAPTAN, the Congress of University Academics, CONUA, the Academic Staff Union of Universities, ASU, and a member of a non-governmental organization, Concerned Parents and Educators Network, CPE. Federal government's position, Mamman, who spoke on a television program on Sunday night, this was where he stated it. He dropped a hint about the policy. Nigeria operates 6334 system, where a that we had with JAMB was to allow underage candidates this year, and for it to serve as a kind of notice for parents from next year. Royal Chief, you're a parent. How would you react to this story?
This is the worst news whatsoever in this year. The worst news.
Why?
Okay, he's bringing those stones. Okay, so if my age then was lesser than that, you will allow me to stay in the class. This is a complete setback in the educational sector. I have a child that is about writing when he reaches 16 years. So the child now will sit at home for 2 years doing what? And we are talking about our children involving in cyber crime. We want to increase it. Because when they acted positively to see that the professor who is the Minister of Education should be sacked. Because he's there to bring policies that will develop Nigeria educational sector, not the one that will bring it backward.
Well, I want to wonder how exactly you think this will bring
Can you imagine that in this country we have some set of because after the civil war in this country, they believe we speak today.
Okay.
There are some advantage to some section in the north. If you score, let me come back again. If you score social number from the south, you don't get admission. Get your actual cut-off mark. They be the one that are in possession of the highest first degree and second degree in the higher institution. They are the one in NMPC. They are the one in military.
But this is not the situation.
That is the situation because these are the situation that we must look at.
From exploring and doing the things that they are supposed
to do. This thing is very annoying, and I want both the religious sector, the traditional institutions, just like the academia, they start. If they did not, they underperform.
Not business at the time to move out. We hear in some foreign clients where we hear that once a child gets to a particular age, they let them go.
That is nice.
And then, like you said, kids are doing very well in other countries. Omoni Oboli, she's an actress.
You need to look at work. Bring back your children here. Bring back your children here. Let them also stay at home and be watching television when they be abusing you.
Oh my God!
Because they send them abroad, okay, to study, and you don't allow them to watch those channels. They be abusing themselves.
Another thing that needs to be looked into: if these kids would not be allowed to go into the university under 18, and then a lot of our children will finish secondary school at 15 or 16, and then you want them to wait. Then there should be some provisions. Yes.
Journalist was arrested that the police are not doing their job. No, nobody is above arrest. You must be investigated. If you are not found wanting in that, you have the right to sue police for arresting, to trample on your fundamental human rights.
You have the right to do what?
You have the right to sue police. You have the right to sue the Nigeria police for embarrassing you, okay, if there's no skeleton in your cupboard.
Yes.
Okay. So the news surrounding why he was arrested, okay, is not that clear because the police have not come out to say this are
the exact reason
why he was picked up. I heard the elder brother was talking how the police they got access to his account, and some new generation bank released his bank details to the police, and they got some money from his account, okay, which is very huge amount of money in his account. So one may ask, and that means they have been trailing on him for a long time. Okay?
Even though those are just allegations until
if it is allegations, I don't think Nigeria police force should also do thorough investigations before they come and start arresting people, because arrest will be the last thing they should have carried out.
But do you see anything political in playing out here? Because from Peter Obi's statement, it looks like he's sensing politics being played out.
I don't accept the statement of Peter Obi saying that we are becoming in Banana Republic. No, this is our own country. Okay, we must condemn the activities of some agencies, but that shouldn't be what